Hi, it is me, Bishop J from Camp Gilgal TV. Wonderful time to be with you. I love you, I love you, I love you, community of Camp Gilgal TV, follower of Camp Gilgal TV, who support my video all the time. I upload it. I love you all. May God bless you. May God protect you. May God provide for all your need. He must provide for all your need. Health you need, He must provide for us. Economical need, He must provide for us. He is God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We bow down to His will. We bow down to His will. His will is above anything. His will is above everything. That's why we bow 7 times before His will. We bow 7 times before His will. Sometimes, we say this a lot. We quote the Bible anyway. I don't disagree on that. And we say, if God is for us, who will be against us? I'm not saying it's wrong to say that. And we say, God is for us, or God is with us. But it's also good to say, I am for you, God. I am with you, God. I am with you, God. In this journey, I am with you. In this journey, I ask you to orient my steps and to guide me slowly, but for sure. You guide me slowly and for sure. I want to say, this sharing will be something that I want to share with you. And I will conclude it in the topic that I want to say to you in the last session of my video. But before that, I'll give you the introductions. And the topic is simple: the rapture versus the second coming. The rapture versus the second coming. In theological jargon, there is what we call eschatology. Eschatology, it is a term that says, or the meaning is, the study of the end time. The study of the end time. Eschatology. And it comes from the study of men and women like you and I, same nature like us, who study and they arrive to this conclusion. For us also, we're still alive now, we're still studying that. But prior to that, there have been men and women in the Bible. God used them in the Bible. And I can tell you few of the men that God has used. Those men were of the same nature like you and I. They cry, they go through tough time, they have difficulties, and they have empty stomachs. But God managed to use them. God managed to elevate them in the highest level, and they arrived to see things. Those few privileged who arrive to see things. It's good to follow God, and it's good to understand the way of God, and it's good to arrive to see what God wants and how He's shaping the world. Eschatology, it is the way God is going to shape the end of this world as you know it. Sometimes we say the end of the world. No, there is not the end of the world. There is just the end of the world as you know it. This world as we know it will one day arrive to stand still. It will stop, and the Lord will continue with His project. That's why the study of eschatology is very important. The Bible, when you read in the Bible, you arrive to see men that God did elevate in a level they've seen things. They've seen things that will shape the world. That's why I recommend you to read the book like the book of Daniel. You read the book of Daniel, you will arrive to see, understand, and don't just read. You need to study, you need to inquire knowledge on the book of Daniel, and you arrive, I call it the ABC of the Bible, the book of Daniel. And I call it the mathematic of the Bible, of the world, and how the world was going to see to end, as you know it. Daniel, God elevated him in a level he saw things. The 70 weeks of Daniel's, he's seen visions of the beasts, the animals, look like bears, other like lion with wings, other like leopard, the statues. He has to interpret dreams. He has seen the angel coming to talk to him. He has seen things that is beyond the acknowledgement. Jesus appeared to him. Oh God, I love you. I love you, Almighty. Jesus appeared to Daniel and spoken to him. Oh no, oh no, oh no. That one of the human beings of same nature like you and I, God arrived to elevate him to enter the third heaven and arrive to take things. If you can master the 70 weeks of Daniel, and you will, if you can master the vision of the interpretation of the dream of Nebuchadnezzar, if you can arrive to understand it and to understand the 70 weeks of Daniel, you will arrive to understand how this world, as you know it, where it's going. I guarantee you, the Bible is specific and clear. There is another man, Zechariah. Zechariah also arrived to say things. Most of his vision, he saw the first event, the first coming of Christ. Zechariah saw the first event. The Bible in the Old Testament, it has two main events, which scholars call it two great mountains. The two great mountains. Number one, that Zechariah saw the first coming of Christ and his death. The number two mountain is the second coming of Christ. That's why I say I will talk on the rapture versus the second coming of Christ. Eschatology. We're talking eschatology. And now, Zechariah arrived to see this mountain. He has, I think, 6 or 8 visions. 6 of 8 visions that the Lord opened his mind. The Lord opened his spiritual eyes, and the Lord touched his lips and the tongues, put the word inside there. And Zechariah penned them down, event after event. That is amazing. That is grace, not privilege. Grace. A grace that God bestowed on some of the few human beings under the sun. Then I will speak of Ezekiel. I will speak of Moses. I will speak of Joshua. But the time of my section of my video will not be enough to take all of this. But let me grab one in the New Testament. The Apostle John. The Apostle John. The one whom the Lord loved so much. The one who was a friend of the Lord. The Apostle John. The Apostle John God has opened his eyes and he wrote the book of Revelations. Now, the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel go hand to hand. Daniel is the revelation of the Old Testament. Then what you call the book of Revelation is the Daniel of the New Testament. That I always call it like this. I always put it like this. Then the book of Zechariah is the 2 chapter in the book of Thessalonians. In the book of Thessalonians and in the book of Thessalonians, there's 2 chapters in the first and the second Thessalonians on the rapture and the second coming of God, of Jesus. That is the Zechariah of the New Testament. And the book of Zechariah is those 2 chapters in the first and the second Thessalonians in the Old Testament. I think you arrive to understand it. I love to share this science. The Bible is a science. It is eschatology. It is in a book or in a study which scholars call systematic theology. In a systematic theology, we have eschatology, we have Christology, we have anthropology, we have etymology, we have armasology. I can go on and on and on. We have ecclesiology. I can go on and on and on and on and on. We have bibliology. These are the group. We have angelology. To put in a systematic theology. But today, I'm getting to you about eschatology. It is a topic that we preachers need to taught or we need to teach or church members. We need to teach them about the first coming and the second coming and the rapture. We need to teach the church that, because the book of Thessalonians say we need to exhort one another about this matter, the matter of the rapture, the first coming of Christ, and the second coming of Christ. Between the first coming and the second coming of Christ, rapture is in the middle of it. Between the first coming and the second coming of Christ, rapture is in the middle of it. That's how amazing this teaching is. And this man, God elevated in a level, even some of vision, Apostle Paul arrived also to see the vision. He said in the book of 2 Corinthians, he went to the third heaven. He did hear what is not permitted to men to hear, and he did see what he was not permitted to men to see, and God forbid him to speak about it. Even Daniel, God forbid him also to speak about the vision he saw. Even John, God forbid him also to speak about the vision that he did see somewhere. That it is why God forbid that, because the timing was not yet ready for it to be revealed. Now, let me conclude. As I said, it is a summary of what is the rapture and what is the second coming, because it's a part of the eschatology. We have what we call post-tribulation, and we have what we call you start by pre-tribulation, which is before the tribulation, and we have what we call the post-tribulation, which is the after-tribulation. We have the millenniums, and we have the mid-terms, and all of it. My video cannot contain all of it in one video. I need to go series. Can take me a year or 6 months for you to grasp it very well. But today I'll bring it simple to you, to the level of anybody to understand it. The rapture versus the second coming, what it is. Now, you need to take your Bible to read on 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16 to verse 17. That is for the rapture. For the rapture, you need to take 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, from verse 16 to verse 17. That is for the rapture. You need also to read for the rapture 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51 to verse 52. You need to read 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51 to verse 52. I always call the chapter 15 of 1 Corinthians is the chapter of the doctrine of the resurrections. Now, when you go to the second coming of Christ, you need to read the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 11 to verse 21. I repeat it again. For the second coming, you need to read the Revelation, chapter 9, from verse 11 to 21, and you need also to read Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 4. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 4. You need also to read that. Now, what is the element that make the difference between these two events? They are not the same event. There is a difference between the rapture and the second coming of Christ. Number one, in the rapture, Christ came for his own. He will come for his own. Who is his own are the church. The church, the true believers. Only the true believer, Christ is coming for them. In the second coming, number one, Christ come with his own. Is coming with his own. Who is his own Christ is coming with? The believer of the Old Testament who died before the death of Christ and his resurrection, and the angels and the church who were raptured at the rapture day, Christ will come with them now to the earth. Number two is Christ appear in the air. That is for the rapture. Christ will appear all in the air. That is the rapture. For the second coming, Christ came back to earth. Christ will come back to the earth. His feet will land on the earth, and he will walk in this earth that you think you own it. Number three, I need to go fast. Number three, on the rapture, Christ come as a loving bridegroom. Bridegroom is coming as a loving bridegroom to his wife, which is the church. Number three, for the second coming, Christ come as a vengeful warrior. He's coming as a warrior. He's coming a King of kings. He is coming to implement what he deems is his kingdom without sharing it to anybody. Number four, for the rapture, only his own sees him. In the rapture, only his own, the true believer, will see him. Others, they will not want to see him. Others, they will see just the event of people disappearing in the world. But the true believer will see him and got caught up, go to the air to meet Jesus. Number four, for the second coming, every eye shall see him. Every eye shall see him. It's not through TV, by the way, as some of people used to teach us wrongly. It's not through TV, you'll see. Every eye shall see him, not through TV. You'll see him as he's coming from the air, down with his own. Every eye shall see him in his second coming that day. That's what I guarantee you. Number 5, for the rapture. Time of a great joy for believer who have been saved. Number 5, it will be a time of a great joy for believer that have saved, because they will rapture. Rapture, their body will be changed to the body of glory, and they will go to meet the Lord on the sky. They'll go high on the sky. Without a plane, without Boeing 77. You don't want to use Boeings. You don't want to use Airbus. You don't want to use the jet sky. You not want to use the missiles that the space jet that are going to the moons and whatever they are going there. You don't want to use that. God will make you to fly. To fly. I believe I can fly because I'm a believer. You fly. You fly. That is for what you call point 5 for the rapture. Point 5 for the second coming is time of a great fear for unbelievers. It will be a time of a great fear for unbelievers, because they will pass through the judgment and be punished in his second coming. Number 6, I will stop here. Number 6 is for the rapture. Focus is on the Lord and his church. The rapture is focus is on the Lord and his church. That's why it's called the day of the Lord. The Lord and the church, because he's coming for the church, not for anybody else. He's coming for the church, and only the church will be raptured. Number 6 for the second coming. Focus is on Israel and his kingdom. I hope you got it, and that is the brief summary, and it has a lot of details for information. If you did not grab it very well, or you did not understand some of the point I bring here, drop your question on the comment sections and I will answer you. If you have other view, drop still your question in the comment sections. I will arrive to not to persuade you, but to give you light on my beliefs. I am a dispensationalist. I am a dispensationalist. I believe on a pre-tribulation. God bless you. See you soon.